And of course, the projection was that the mine would run for 14 years. And the projection proved to be exactly correct, because this is the nature of mining. They can project the amount of ore that's there, the amount of time it will take to extract it, where it is, and so forth. And all of that type of work is done in advance of the development itself, which is why development work of mining is very expensive. And the plant at SIlvermines at that time cost $20 million, which in our money at that time was £8 million, which was absolutely phenomenal. So, as would be normal, a lot of land was acquired to accommodate the mine and to facilitate the miners and the development work. And of course, this obviously led to people being moved from their farms and so forth. After selling their farms or selling their land or whatever, they moved either to town or to other areas. And that is part of the history of mining, this dislocation, if you like. So the development obviously started amidst great excitement, and miners came here from all over Ireland, from Donegal to Ballingarry, where there were miners already in Tipperary, and of course in particular local, Nina and SIlvermines itself. And they were mixed in terms of standard, in terms of qualifications, and in terms of expertise. Firstly, as happened even in the 13th century and throughout the 1600s and 1800s, there were foreign miners, not English this time, but Canadian, and they came with the necessary skills to get the mine underway. And of course they were assisted then by local, perhaps farmers or people willing to work as clerical officers or whatever. But it was a win-win situation in terms of employment. It gave wonderful employment, sustained employment for over 14 years. And people worked shift work. And of course, when you're underground, you work on a bonus system as well. And a lot of people made good money out of it. During the 14 years in SIlvermines, there was great quietness overground. You know, when the shifts would come in and people would go down in what they call the cage, go down in great numbers to work 500, 600 and 700 feet underground. The shaft in SIlvermines was almost 1,000 feet and had 3 different levels. So there was a whole underground working throughout the day, and unknown, unseen, not communicating with anybody, but extracting precious ore at the same time, bringing it to the surface, putting it through the processing plant, extracting the concentrate and shifting it overseas. So it's a very specific, but it's a very traditional industry, but very an industry that calls for great planning and great skill, and it's not without being a bit dangerous either. There were 3 fatalities in Mogul between 1968 and 1982, sadly. And then they were producing large quantities of ore. They were mining 3,000 tons of ore daily, from which they extracted 400 tons of what we call concentrate. Now the concentrate is the finished commodity in terms of the mine, and it's then shipped to smelters around Europe. In our case, the ore was taken by rail because CIE in the 60s had developed and built a spur railway to accommodate the mining. That was part of the a spur from the Limerick-Nina rail line. So that was exciting at a time when railway stations were closing all over the country. Here we had SIlvermines village getting its own new spur. And so the ore was taken away, 400 tons each day, by carriages to Fines, to the port of Fines in County Limerick, where it was shipped out to the smelters in Germany and elsewhere. And that went on for 14 years, and it was highly successful.